A very warm welcome to you at home. I am Musam Khalipi and this is Afroshowbiz News, the show that keeps you in the know about all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Now, to keep in touch, feel free to email us at afroshowbiznews@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowbizNews. Time now for today's headlines. Nigeria's frontline Hausa musical icon Dan Maraya Jos has died. SABC 1's Telenova Uzalo has received a whopping 5 million rand to be used for retaining Durban-based actors in the province. And South African musician and former anti-apartheid activist Johnny Clegg is to receive an award from Queen Elizabeth. Nigeria's frontline Hausa musical icon Dan Maraya Jos has died. The 69-year-old musician, whose name means the Little Orphan of Jos, died in Bukuru after a protracted illness.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has expressed shock over the sudden demise of the late musician. The Plateau State government said late Adam Waiya, popularly known as Dan Maraya Jos, contributed a lot to the state peace process.
The African fashion market is growing rapidly in the continent and abroad, with fashion entrepreneurs based in Africa using regional and continental expos to showcase and sell their brands. Now, according to reports, in 2011 alone, 16 major events throughout Africa provided African-based designers and entrepreneurs with platforms to showcase their designs. South Africa took the lead by hosting 3 fashion weeks, 2 in Cape Town and 1 in Johannesburg, that involved designers from all over the continent. Now, today in studio, we are joined by Holly Meadows, who is the spokesperson for Elle Magazine, and Mr. Price. Hello, Holly. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Missa. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming. Now, Holly, please just tell us, what does business of fashion entail in Africa?
Business of fashion? Well, we have a competition, an annual competition called Elle Rising Star. And we want to identify young designers and empower them and grow them and help nurture the fashion industry here and grow fashion businesses.
All right. Now, Holly, how has the the business of fashion contributed to the local economy?
Well, I mean, the fashion industry is huge. It's a big force to be reckoned with, and with Elle Rising Star, we crown one big designer, and they get a contract with Mr. Price, they get a mentorship, and then they get to design a range for Mr. Price that retails in store.
All right. Now, Holly, do you think that people, in the fashion industry in South Africa understand the business of fashion?
I think that the fashion industry is something that needs to be nurtured and grown, and I think that education is key. And through Elle Rising Star, we try and educate young designers to understand the business side. And actually, the 8 finalists that come on board with us through Elle Rising Star do get to learn the business side. It's an important aspect. So, as a young designer, we teach them how to make a business plan and how to make their garments commercially viable so that they can retail in store. So it's a big part of the Elle Rising Star property.
All right, tell us about the criteria that you look for when selecting these young designers.
Well, we look for many things, but creativity is key, of course, and also technical ability. Actually, we insist that the designers have to sew at least 50% of their range. So technical ability is important.
Now,
and
Holly,
then also style. They've got to be fashion forward.
All right. Now, Holly, as a person in the fashion industry, how would you then maybe compare, international fashion to that of South Africa? Do you think there still needs to be a gap in South Africa that needs to be filled?
I don't think we should compare, really, and I think that young designers from South Africa can grow and be completely eligible on an international playing field. So, for example, if you look at some of the previous winners from Elle Rising Star, You've got David Lale, for example. Now, David Lale shows at New York Fashion Week every single week, rather every single year.
Yes.
And he's had big models walking the runway for him, like Tyson Beckford. And he's, he's an international fashion designer now.
All right, now what do you think that Rising Star Designer...
So I suppose what I'm trying to say, we have talent here that...
Yes, of course. Now
that
Holly...
can be a big player in the international field.
All right, now Holly, what do you think, these awards mean for these designers? What are they going to achieve, after winning these awards? What are they going to achieve?
Well, with L Rising Star competition, we select 8 finalists, and each finalist gets 10,000 rand to develop a collection. And the collection must consist of 8 outfits. And when the winner is decided on, which happens towards the end of this year in November, they win 30,000 rand from Mr. Price to help develop their future label. And then they also get a mentorship program with Mr. Price, and they also get to design a collection that retails in-store with Mr. Price.
All right. Now, Holly, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
This.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Me.
You're most welcome, Holly.
Okay, sure, thanks.
That was Holly Meadows talking to us about the business of fashion in Africa and L and Mr. Price Rising Star Awards. Now, an appeal by SABC1's Telenova Uzalo for financial assistance has not fallen on deaf ears. Uzalo received a whopping 5 million rand from the city of Durban's eThekwini municipality. The money will be used for, amongst other things, retaining actors in Durban. Uzalo co-directors Pepsi Pukane and Gugu Zuma presented the Durban Economic Development and Planning Committee with a request for a 11.5 million cash injection. However, the city only agreed to pump in 5 million rand. The cash injection is intended to reverse the gap that sees talented people of the province moving to cities such as Cape Town and Johannesburg to pursue their dreams in the TV world. Praise the Lord, amen. The Telenova's director, Pepsi Pukane, wants to ensure that artists stay in Durban and not move to other cities. The show has proven to be popular in its 8:30 p.m. time slot every weeknight. Uzalo is filmed and produced entirely in the KwaMashu township. A large amount of the production budget is used to support the city of Durban in things such as hospitality, accommodation, and transport, as well as businesses in the city. Uzalo has employed 132 people and offered a number of student internships, but the production would have to make certain staff cuts if funding could not be provided. With the tagline "Blood is Forever," Uzalo tells the story of 2 families, the Mdlejes and the Xulus, and the 2 young men who carry their hopes and the legacies. The 2 families live in contradictory worlds of church and crime respectively. The Telenova is shot entirely on location on the streets of KwaZulu-Natal's F section of KwaMashu. The lead cast includes Naimaps Mapalala, Kumbulani Kesibiya, Mpumelelo Blose, Beki Mkwane, and Leleti Kumalo, among others.
Ngithatha abafana la location. Ngithi ngifuna balekelela. Bangalali belambile. Baphenduka bona bazontshontshela mina.
Manje la kumina ufunani?
The Telenova first went on air earlier this year with much appreciation from the public. A young musician from the Eastern Cape is taking his musical talent to another level. Now, the 26-year-old Nakane has become the newest member of BMG France after he was signed by the biggest international record label. Let's have a look. BMG offers a new digital age service to songwriters, artists, and right owners in the music industry. Born in the Eastern Cape, Nakane Tori grew up in choirs while taking part in school music productions. Practicing as a professional musician for only 2 years now, Tori has come a long way in a very short space of time. With melodic vocals, he sings songs that expose his fears, feelings, and experiences. The musician released his debut album titled Brave Confusion in 2013. The release put his name on the map. Being Johannesburg-based, Nakhane's music is wide-ranging and has managed to cross over to both the white and black crowd through his alternative style. Tori made his recording debut in 2013 with a series of releases. His first release was the EP Abraham, which contained just 3 songs. This EP was given 4 stars out of 5 by Rolling Stone. He later went on to grace the cover of that magazine. Besides now being signed to one of the biggest record labels, the artist is embarking on another journey. Nakhane will release his debut book later this year. The book will follow his life over the past 6 years. To Whom Shall We Go is based for most part in Alice and Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape, and later Johannesburg, the places in which he spent most of his life. You were still watching Afroshowbiz News right here on SABC 404. Now let's go for a quick ad break. We'll be back with more African entertainment stories. And welcome back. South African poet Napo Mashiane collaborated with musicians and poets from the University of Technology on a piece that promotes unity in Africa. The play is titled Napo Mashiane and Friends, and it is a commentary on xenophobic attacks that took place in South Africa.
Renowned, acclaimed and celebrated poet Napo Mashiane set the stage alight with her latest renowned offering titled Napo Mashiane and Friends, with the theme of the event being Poetry Unites Africa, a stand against xenophobia, which took place at the State Theatre.
I have friends from other parts of Africa and we know what has been happening around the country. So it just made sense for me that I show solidarity with my friends by sharing this stage, and we use art, and theatre and poetry and music really to unite Africa and, yeah, to be one.
She featured extraordinary 5-part music band that has literally stretched the meaning of gospel harmonies in an artistic approach to praise God through the natural instrument, articulating in Afro jazz and contemporary gospel music.
We're an a cappella group, and this is like a first time to be involved in a poetry setup. So we bring that a cappella spice into the whole show, and we bring our own thing. And together, when you fuse a cappella and poetry, you get something very special.
Napo Mashiane and Friends pays homage to the development of spoken word by stretching boundaries and breaking the rules of what performance poetry is seen as.
It's dramatized poetry, it's performance poetry. Other people call it choreo poems because there's an element of dance in it, there's an element of music in it, and there's also an element of spoken word in it, which becomes the central thing. So it is dramatized poetry, it's performance.
This collaboration features a number of young poets from the Tshwane University of Technology to celebrate Youth Month. It's sure to give the audience the kind of experience they can walk away with long after the show is over.
South African musician and former anti-apartheid activist Johnny Clegg is to receive an award called Officer of the Order of the British Empire, an award from the Queen Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace in London in the United Kingdom. Now the date of the event is still to be announced as part of the Queen's 2015 birthday honour list.
Through all the days that eat away at every...
Johnny Clegg is one of South Africa's best love performers with an international reputation. Known as White Zulu, Johnny Clegg made his name by performing with bands like Juluka and Savuka. His love for music and dedication to the industry has finally paid off. Johnny Clegg will be awarded the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth. Clegg was informed of the honor by the British High Commission this week.
Clear as the light of day.
Clegg has received this acknowledgement for his activism against apartheid as well as for his charity work. He has played a major role in bringing South Africa together through his music and actions. American actor Kevin Spacey is also one of the recipients of the award for his contribution in the film industry. Clegg first rose to prominence when he formed Juluka with Sipho Mchunu in the late 70s. Drawing heavily on traditional Zulu music, the band released a string of popular albums. He formed another crossover band, Savuka, finding a huge degree of international success both at home and abroad.
No one can put him down. Inside him a boy looks up to his father.
We expand our knowledge by reading different kinds of books, and I'm sure that our guest tonight will agree with me when I say you are never too old to learn new things. He's an electrical engineer by profession and an author too. Now let me introduce to you Linda Ntulu, a motivational speaker and trainer, and he's here to talk to us about the Leadership 2020 conference. Hello Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Musa.
Thank you so much for coming. First and foremost, tell us what you will be doing at the Leadership 2020 conference.
I'll be doing a talk on Sunday, and I'll be talking about maintaining a winning culture, which challenges people from all walks of life, be it a customer, be it a person who's a supplier, be it a person who is doing entrepreneurship, you know. So we'll be challenging different people, be it leaders, you know, because it's critical that we challenge people to move to the next level.
All right, now Linda, you're an author, motivational speaker, and all of these other things. What inspires you to do all of these things?
Well, I guess it's the passion that you find in what you do. I love speaking to people. I love agitating people. I love to get people to be challenged to move into their next level. So because of that, it became easy for me to be a speaker. But I also I like taking notes, and because of that note-taking business, I found myself publishing a book in 2008.
Mm-hmm. Now, Linda, tell us a bit about, the projects that you are involved in, especially with the youth.
It's a lot of projects. I mean, this is Youth Month and we're finishing it, but it's awesome to speak to young people. I speak to young people at schools. I speak to young people in different organizations, but I challenge a lot of matriculants because I've seen that it's critical to speak to them. And when I speak to them, I don't speak to them about passing, but I speak to them about writing memorandums. So if they can write memorandums, guess what? We are in a better country, and we've got a better challenge where we can say people have got 7 level 7s instead of saying people are getting 33% or something like that.
All right, why do you think that these young people in the country need such talks from people like you?
Because most of them are powerful, most of them are innovative, most of them are hungry to be successful, but sometimes they just lack that role model. Sometimes they come from backgrounds like mine where you don't have anyone who has inspired you to become what you are. You are the first one in the family, you know. So most of them, they need people like us to speak to them because they then relate and they can say, look, please mentor me, and we're able to take them through our tours as well.
All right, now let's talk about your book, You Are Wired to Win.
Yep.
What is that book all about?
It is about winning, like the title says. It is about winning. It is about winning in the workplace. It is about winning in your life. It is about winning in terms of wellness. It is about winning in your finances. Most people are suffering today. Most marriages are suffering today, not because people don't love each other, but because sometimes their finances are in a mess. So I speak about that, issues of getting out of debt and staying out of debt and ensuring that you're living a clean life and a pure life.
All right, a lot of people don't know their worth and what they're destined for. What message would you have, or do you have, for such people?
Look, I always say it's critical to look deep within yourself so that you find out what is it that you were born to do. When you find out what you were born to do, one person makes a powerful statement. He says there are 2 important dates in life, the date you were born and the date you find your destiny. When you find your destiny, when you find your purpose, your life will never be the same again. So it's critical that people know what is it that they love to do. And how do you find out what you love to do? The thing that you'll do and you won't see time, that is something that talks to your destiny as well as your passion.
All right, now Linda, let's just quickly go back to the 2020 conference. Who is going to be part of that conference?
Well, we've got a lot of people coming through for that. We've got a guy from overseas, Mr. Mackenzie, who's a life coach, who's coaching 1%, top 1% of the richest people in America. He'll be coming to share his experiences with us. We've got Tumi Fraser, who will be there. We've got DJ Spoo, who will be there. We've got a number of guests that will be coming through. We've got Advocate Leslie Sidibe. You know, it's at the State Theatre, and we'll be challenging people from all walks of life. And we are actually saying everyone can think like a billionaire, because it's critical that you have a billionaire mind because you can have before you can have a billionaire money. You know, most people rush for the money, but they don't want to fine-tune their mind. It's critical that your mind is fine-tuned and aligned, because once your mind is aligned and you've got the right attitude, you are unstoppable in this world.
So true, so true. Thank you, Linda. I'd love to talk to you a bit more, but time is up. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so very much.
You're most welcome. Now, you are still watching Afroshowbiz News. If you've missed any of our shows, be sure to catch them on our YouTube channel by simply searching for Afroshowbiz News. Time now for another ad break. Stay tuned.
Your World makes it its business every evening to round up the leading local stories and international news to keep you informed all the time.
Make a date with Your World every evening for all the news headlines around the world to keep you abreast with knowledge.
Catch Your World for headlines across the world every Monday to Friday from 9 p.m, then Saturday and Sunday from 7 p.m. And welcome back. Now, South African DJ Black Coffee has been nominated for this year's prestigious DJ Awards. The award ceremony will be held in Ibiza, Spain, in September. Other big names also nominated include the likes of French DJ David Guetta and Scottish DJ Calvin Harris, amongst others.
The renowned DJ, who is expecting a baby with his wife Mbali Mlotso, has another reason to celebrate. He recently announced on Twitter that he has been nominated at this year's DJ's Award. The annual ceremony is a big event for DJs all over the world, as it picks out the best amongst the rest. DJ Black Coffee has been nominated in the Breakthrough category. The DJ, who is currently in New York for his jam-packed summer tour, made the exciting announcement on Twitter.
I've been hurt so many times. It got to a point when I decided.
He has asked fans on home soil to rally behind him by voting. Other big names who has been nominated in other categories include the likes of David Guetta, Calvin Harris, Hardwell, and Avicii. The categories span across different genres, from techno to bass to deep house.
Tunisia's capital, Tunis, was transformed into a funfair extravaganza when hundreds of people attended World Music Day. Local and international artists performed at this year's event, serenading music lovers with a cocktail of music beats.
Hundreds of revelers descended on one of Tunisia's main streets to watch musicians take to the stage as part of the World Music Day, also known as the Fête de la Musique. The Habib Bourguiba Avenue was cleared of traffic, allowing people to soak up the atmosphere and dance the night away. Among the performers was French singer Fetty Tabet.
It was great, excellent. The public is receptive. We see that there are many young people. They wait for such events. There must be more concerts like this. It's a breath of fresh air for everybody.
This year's concert coincided with the Islamic month of Ramadan, when observant Muslims around the world fast from dawn until sunset. The event marks the first day of summer and the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. Fans said they wanted more concerts like this in the North African state.
We need more things like this. It makes us very happy. Look at us. We're happy. We're all here, listening to good music and having fun.
Jimawi Africa, a reggae band from Algeria, also entertained the crowds with their hits, with Tunisia band Misrab closing the show. World Music Day was first established in 1982. It is marked in hundreds of cities around the world, celebrating different types of music and performance.
The foul-mouthed talking bear with a penchant for drinking and drugs is now returning to theatre as a married man. The stars of Ted 2 hit the red carpet in New York to celebrate the film's world premiere on Wednesday. Let's have a look. Starring Mark Wahlberg, this was his first time in a sequel, and his involvement in the first film wasn't without his due diligence.
It's the kind of thing where, there's no good way to pitch this movie. A guy with a talking teddy bear, or his teddy bear comes to life. I didn't like the idea when I first heard it. It wasn't until I reluctantly read the script, then met with Seth, and then saw the test of the bear that I knew it could be something special. Obviously, you couldn't predict the kind of success that it had. There's no way you can anticipate that sort of thing. But we felt like there was a lot of potential there.
The first film was released in 2012 and made about $550 million worldwide in the box office. This time around, Ted is now married to his girlfriend from the first film. As the couple attempts to start a family, Ted fights in court to prove that he is human. Actress Jessica Barth plays Ted's love interest and shared her secret of working with the stuffed animal.
I couldn't think of him as a bear because in my work I had to think of him as the love of my life. So in my preparation I prepared the same as I would if he was a real actor in front of me.
Most of the talk surrounding the film is about its raunchy nature. However, McFarlane said the film is about much more.
I think the oh my, well I never narrative is a popular one in the press right now, and I think when you put that aside and get that out of your system, it is a movie that does have an actual story, and there's an actual set of stakes for Ted, and hopefully that'll come through in the viewing of it.
He further said that the film is relevant today as it deals with acceptance and discrimination issues. The film is packed with guest appearances from Liam Neeson, Morgan Freeman, Tom Brady, and the voice of Patrick Stewart. We wrap up Youth Month with a sterling performance by a young and talented musician who is making waves in her own right in the music industry. Welcome, Newa. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're most welcome. Now, Newo, you're one of the winners of the National Eisteddfod Academy Award. So tell us about how that made you feel.
Oh, wow. That was actually one of the best moments, I think, in my music life. Because I didn't get to only share that moment with, myself and the accompanists. I also had, it was actually a duet piece that we won with Althea Steinberg. She plays the recorder. So we played a piece called Shadas, which we've been doing for quite a long time, since we've been friends as well. So that moment to just share with another person, oh my goodness, we won. Even the actual performance itself, we felt that it was one of the best performances we've ever given. So the fact that the judges acknowledged that to make us first in the National Eisteddfod, that was the most incredible feeling in the world.
All right, now Newa, briefly tell us what inspires you.
Well, first and foremost, obviously, it's my family. They inspire me. They're the ones that just keep me going when times are tough, when I don't want to practice, when I just want to be out and about. Yeah. So they obviously are the first and foremost people that inspire me and keep me going. And another thing also is during my Neo Mutsatse concert tour, I did 2 concerts in Port Elizabeth and East London. And while I was there, I actually went to go visit a few schools to just tell them about the violin, for them to get to know the violin, also to also get to know me as a person and a musician. Like, how did I get to where I am now at my age? So that also for me, for them to know that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. You can be a musician, you can be an incredible athlete. So that's another inspiration of mine, that I'm an inspiration to them to do what they want with their lives.
All right, now Newa, you're going to be performing for us. What is the name of the song that you're performing for us?
I will be playing Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson.
All right, take it away.